welcome to How to Be a Money Magpie. This is the podcast from MoneyMagpie.com. I'm Jasmine Birtles, founder of the website.
And I'm Annie Thorpe. I'm content editor for MoneyMagpie.com. We're continuing our quest to find more of the many ways you can be clever with money without even trying. As you know, if you've been listening to our other episodes, we believe in making money as well as saving it, finding really fun and interesting ways of building up reserves of cash, as well as being clever and thoughtful at spending it.
We're also big believers in sharing the money we have. As I like to say to anyone who'll listen, money is like manure. It only does good if you spread it around. Otherwise, it's just a stinking pile of mess.
And today we're looking particularly at how to make money, how to leverage the unique and brilliant aspects of you, that's you, yourself, to turn it into profit. And it doesn't matter what abilities you think you have or don't have, we know that everyone has the ability to make money, sometimes in a few different ways. And to help us unlock this talent in you right now, we have the amazing Kriss Akabusi on the programme. Hello, Kriss.
Hey, hi Annie, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you, having a good day so far?
So far, so good. The best part is about to happen, speaking to you.
Hope so.
Good man. Well, listen, let's just start with having a quick whistle-stop tour through Kriss's career so far, because it's pretty amazing. Get this. So, Kriss, you rose to fame as an Olympic athlete where you won 3 gold medals. You also helped Britain win the gold medal from the Americans at the 1991 World Championships in Tokyo. And I see from your website that you said your greatest individual triumph was when you beat David Hemery's British record for the 400-metre hurdles at the 1990 European Championships. And in 1992, you were awarded an MBE for services to athletics. And then you went on to be a TV star, presenting Channel 4's Big Breakfast and, of course, Record Breakers and other children's TV series. And I know you're now on more serious programs, reviewing the papers and commenting on politics and news and magazine programs like Sky and BBC and elsewhere. And you're a much sought-after motivational speaker and personal coach now, helping executives and top business people achieve their goals. I'm feeling just worn out just saying all of that. Kriss, what a guy.
Is that me? Have I really done that? It's, when you hear your life read out like that in citation, it's actually quite strange when I think of who I am, where I come from, and who I purport to be. That, there's been some great markers along the way of this world called life.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, you started with athletics. What do you feel you learned with athletics? Because there's so much. I mean, to get to this state that you did. I mean, even to get good, let alone super good, there's a whole lot of discipline. I mean, there's a lot of mental stuff going on. What do you think you got particularly from that's helped?
Yeah, athletics was a great period of your life. I tell you, the one thing you understand about athletics is the objective nature of it. Athletics is so different to the rest of life. In athletics, it's very objective. No one can argue if you're the best in the world because you've gone out on a particular day, taken on all comers, crossed the line first, and wear the laurel wreath. Whereas so much of life is subjective and contingent upon other people's perspectives, other people opening doors and making things happen for you. Now, that's not to say that in life you don't have other people who open doors and make things happen for you. It's just that when you walk through that door, you're on your own and you've got to get across the line first. So what did I learn from my athletics? I learned about the decisions you make. I mean, I made a decision to go into athletics, supported by somebody else, Simon McKenzie, who was my very first mentor manager. And also in athletics, there are rules to the game. There are rules to life. There are rules to money making. There are rules to business. Some of them are very much constructive rules, but some of them seem to be sort of natural rules.
We're talking about making money and business. Go through a few of those rules.
You've got to give in order to receive. Economy doesn't work if we all sit on our money, for example. You can store as much money as you like, but if you're too scared to hand it out, eventually it won't come back round. And so when you see the beginning of recessions, And you see, for example, when I live near Woburn, and in Woburn there were lots of small bougie restaurants and stuff. And I remember in the GFC 2008, when they started closing down and going out of business, people thought that wasn't affecting them. But then 2009, it came back to haunt you. And so if you're not spending, not giving out money, it won't come back to you. So it's really important, for example, now in the current climate that we find ourselves, that we do go when we patronise our restaurants. We do go out, and hopefully we'll get go-ahead soon to go back to the theatre. I don't know how they're going to do it, but you go back to the theatre. Because these all these peripheral things that you think are not necessary. You've got all your emergency services, but they're vitally important to the economy. Not just your well-being, your sense of self, the story you tell yourself, but also to the economy. If they die, we eventually die. And you know that thing where 6 months ago you were stuck in your house and it was a nice novel idea? That will be it. There'll be nowhere to go. So yeah, what goes around comes around. That seems to be a lot. So in athletics, for example, you step into the arena. There's a whole paraphernalia of people around you that make you happen.
Interesting. We're talking about how to make money out of yourself, your actual personality, your abilities, your skills, or whatever. And I look at you and I think, well, this is somebody who's done phenomenally well at athletics, and then from that managed to go to pivot and go into television and then speaking and all of that. But of course, there aren't many Kriss Akabusis around. Who else can say, oh, I've done all this in athletics and then go on. So what would you say to somebody else who doesn't have your background? And that's most people, let's be honest, and who's thinking, well, how can I make money out of my poor little skills? What advice would you give them?
The first thing, Yasmin, is don't see yourself as poor and don't see yourself as little.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. How you see yourself, how you project yourself is very important. Kriss Akabusi hasn't always been Kriss Akabusi. Kriss Akabusi was a poor kid in a children's home who got himself in trouble, left school with 9 no levels, and joined the army for a sense of safety and security and a place to belong. Every single person that you see in the world has got their cross to bear. But we've also got our brand to communicate as well. And the thing is that the story, the narrative that you tell yourself as you grow older, you can look up to the heavens and have this brilliant star, or you can look down to the earth and see the dirt. Now, the person that the world sees, Kriss Akabusi, is very much a brand and a consistent brand. And there are times when I bored of the brand Kriss Akabusi myself, because every time I step out the door, I have to be Kriss Akabusi. Now, I put it on, but there is Kriss Akabusi is just a small scintilla of the entity myself. But it is the part of me that is able to attract an economic leverage and is able to pay my bills and make sure they've got turkey at Christmas. And now part of the brand used to be a pain in the bottom when I was at school. So when I was at school, they would say, Akabusi, shut up, sit down and stop running around.
And now they pay you to do all of those things.
100%, Yasmin. So that's it. 100. Now they pay me to get up, running around and laughing.
Yeah.
I was once introduced on stage as Akabusi, the guy with the gregarious laugh, very hard to ignore, but well worth the effort. But sometimes it's a gift. And so I now get paid an obscene amount of money to stand on stage and speak about my storyline. When I say obscene for the guy in the children's home, not for where I am now. Tell my storyline, and I have to be humorous. I have to be excitable, because that's the brand they are paying for. Of course, I need analogy, I need allegory, I need story and narrative. I need to have a point I'm trying to extricate out of that experience. But I've got to boom, I've got to burst on stage, I've got to be energetic.
So if someone wants to do their own thing and they want to be their own brand, as you are, what or even they might just be sick of their job and want to start something new. What are the first things that they should be doing? What would you suggest?
But there are different stages to this sort of the change cycle. So if they really were sick of their job, tired of what they're doing, and want to do something new, they might be what we would call being in the doldrums. That is a real lethargy, no wind behind themselves. The world as they know it doesn't make sense. It's really important at that stage of life to talk to somebody. Anybody with a background of helping people think through the muddle you may have got yourself in. It's really important not to stay there, not to stay stuck. And then you go into that creative space where you begin to tap core values. I remember when we did our MBA program, we were asked to, well, whatever you do, whatever your job is, extract from there one thing that makes you. Just extract it, take away. So for example, for me, at that stage, my fame. My fame gives me opportunity. Okay, so if you haven't got your fame, what other gifts, skills, talents, abilities do you have in your arsenal, in your locker, that you very readily use because your fame precedes you? That's my story. So you'd have to ask yourself, okay, well, what other things have you got going on in your life? And you tap core values. Look, there is no silver bullet. There's no one smash out of the call. You got to try it out. You got to dare to be different. You got to try new stuff on. Be brave with the new side of you. But know this: something will work. Something will come out. I've been self-employed since for 35 years, and I don't know how it works, but I know it does work. Something always comes out in the end.
And this is really what the future is, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like you, I've always been self-employed. It was a relatively unusual thing when I was doing it when you first started, but
Mm.
now it's looking like it's going to be the future, and more people will be self-employed.
Mhm.
So you've got people who, maybe you've got people who know or think they know that they want to be a party planner or a writer or an actor, or a consultant or whatever. So say they've got the skills or the knowledge, or they or just the will to do it. They think, yeah, this is
Mhm.
what I want to do. What would you say are the next steps there to actually establish yourself?
So I can only obviously talk from my own perspective, my own viewpoint, my own experience. My experience, I've not been the sort of person to conject out of nothing, to create out of nothing. All of my iterations, all of my different jobs have been things that I've had a delight for while I've been doing something else. So, for example, my athletic career came out of being a soldier in the British Army, and athletics was a pastime that I dedicated myself to, committed myself to, spoke to people about, and drew people in. And all of a sudden, I got faced with the reality I was going to have to decide, because I was getting a success in my athletics that my and a sense of self in my athletics that the army wasn't giving me. And so I left the army, concentrated on my athletics. That's history. And then as my athletics became became to wane, what I found is that the odd TV job you were doing and the odd radio time, and people say, "Oh, that was brilliant, that's fantastic." There's a market there, and so all of a sudden, there came a time when I turned myself away from athletics. I was still winning medals, I was still winning races, and I said at the Olympic Games in 1992, when I just broke the British record for the third time, I'm retiring, because I knew the call for TV and entertainment was bigger than the joy of competing. And then when I was in TV, when I was in TV, I started doing these things on stage and laughing and joking and telling my story and getting a great sense of this is where I belong. And so I had to, in the end, make that choice. Take a fully fledged TV career, working at the BBC, or get into the corporate stuff and say no to TV opportunities. The way I would do it is examine your here and now, look at your there and then back, and see what are the things that have been emerging over the last few years that you delight in, that have captured your attention, that give you that buzz, sense of self and purpose.
That's such a lovely phrase as well, to find your delights, because we're so often told to just go and do the thing that makes the most money, or people have a very financial mind. But if you're enjoying what you're doing, you'll feel far more motivated for longer,
100%.
and you'll get more out of it, I think.
100%, Annie, 100%. And money's, and this, I mean, this is MoneyMagpie and his Money podcast. Money is an important thing, but it certainly isn't everything. And the money should be utilized to expedite your dreams. And actually, I mean, I don't know about you, but when we had lockdown, you couldn't go and spend money. I mean, you've got to be really careful, because I know I'm in a privileged position, but life was quite easy, quite simple. You know, all I did is go buy food to eat and pay the electricity bill. So if you can find something that really engages you, that is passionate for you, that you have fun and you delight in, and gives you a sense of purpose and well-being and contribution to another, and anyway, the money comes anyway. What am I talking about? The money comes anyway, because what you find is that there's a community out there that exactly want what you've got. I mean, people make money out of the most obscure stuff.
Yes, they do. Yes.
6 billion people in the world. Imagine that number.
Yeah.
And so when you get passionate about something, there is a segment of those billions of people that want exactly what you got and the way that you do it. And listen, we are unique and we are wonderfully made. There's not ever been anybody on this earth like you at this time, in this moment. So when you come up with something, it really is sui generis, one of a kind. I want to come to you. If you make that, now this is the idea, how do you get it to market? If you make that out to market, you will find your segment who want what you got.
Interesting. Yeah. But then, of course, what we've got at the moment is the argument, and I keep hearing it from all over, that, oh, we're coming into a recession. We're talking ourselves into a recession, it seems to me. I mean, a big one. And there's no money. You know, you can try setting up a business, but you know, who's going to have the money to pay for it? How do you overcome that continuous sort of argument that's coming at us?
Yeah, I mean, I like what you said there, you know, about talking ourselves down and talking ourselves into a recession. I mean, there are some obvious, of course, you know, that, you know, businesses that are going out of business, and so that they won't be there. But wherever you lose business, you also gain business. There are people who are making new businesses in this environment because the environment dictates, the environment needs. So there's much more at the moment being made out of the digital sphere. You need to engage with the way things are and how they can be. If you can position yourself with your product, with the way things are and how they can be, there's a market for you. Guaranteed market for you. My life's changed. I'm a professional speaker who stands on a stage, and I am used by business owners to bring a bit of energy and excitement to what could be a very boring, long day. And I take the salient points of the very serious messages and I weave it into my story, and people go, well, guess what? There are no conferences. I've not been on stage since March. I've not had any money from that area since March. However, there is a new market opening through digital recordings. And so I can change the energy of a meeting by recording 10, 15, 20 minutes on a subject matter that slots into the business. You've got to find your new place in the here and now. I can't cry for the then and there.
It sounds to me like you need persistence and those things that you don't learn at school. Just being able to keep on and keep standing up when life seems to kick you down. Would you say that's a big part of it as well?
Yes, of course. Yes, definitely got to be able to stand up when life kicks you down. It's never over till it's over, and hopefully you've got 4 years and a few bits on the end to live. It's never over till it's over. To be human is to suffer. To be human is to struggle. To be human is to have those dark nights of the soul. and be able to say, and this too shall pass. I don't want to set myself up, but yes, I have got this brand. I am happy-go-lucky and I laugh a lot. I don't want anyone listening to think I don't have dark moments. I don't have moments where I'm not quite sure where the next check is coming in and it means something to me. We all have those things. But what I've learned, it may sound churlish, there hasn't been one Christmas that I haven't had turkey. I always get turkey at Christmas. And no matter how the year starts, there's always turkey. And I suspect, I'm 62 now, in the next 20 odd years, if God willing, I will have turkey for the next 20 odd years.
I hope you do. And I know you will. So with your business coaching hat on, what would you say are the most common issues that you come across when it comes to people asking for your advice on their careers, etc.? Is it lack of focus, lack of planning? What would you say are the main issues that you deal with?
What I would say is that a lot of business coaching ends up being personal coaching. A lot of struggles people have in the business life are the personal and professional. They are interwoven. They're not two separate spheres, even though we do often try to keep the personal out of the professional. Many times I meet people, for example, who have something like imposter syndrome. I've had it myself. Where really, is this me? Are they really paying me for this? Can I do it one more time? Or another one is someone that's been in corporate life for a very long time and then finds the corporate world doesn't want them anymore. And they're now in their 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s, and are scared of starting up. They don't want to be put out to sea and are scared. So there's so many issues. What I call major transitional issues that I have to deal with when I work with my customers.
It's useful to know, that we're not the only ones. We always think we are. I think, oh, this is my problem, but it sounds like we all basically have the same problems going on.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. In the 80s, and I think you can remember the 80s.
I'm 29. Yeah, no.
But in the 80s was the big old power shoulders and the power walk and the uppie veil and social climbing. And we had this postulating, and everyone was really trying to put out a powerful brand. And I think the legacy of that for people who are now, well into their careers is that sometimes emperor's new clothes or climbed the ladder of success and found it to be against the wrong wall because it's a little bit hollow when you get there. And then that struggle to find the essential self that was buried under all of these pretensions in trying to be something that you felt other people wanted.
Thank you so much for all of that, Kriss. It was really inspiring and very helpful. And I think it's interesting that confidence seems to be the running theme through all of that, really, is things like imposter syndrome and lack of planning or focus, is none of us think we can do the things that we actually can. So thank you so much. And now our producer, John, has been scouring our message boards and social media for the best tips of the week. So it's over to John. What have you found?
Hi, Annie. So yeah, definitely can relate to the imposter syndrome and even working past guilt. Definitely have that one as well. But yeah, Annie, I've been chatting to MoneyMagpie this week, who got in touch through our social media pages, and they shared their top tips on setting up their own business, which they did about 10 years ago. Have a listen to this.
My name is Martina Porter. I am the Managing Director of Allspring Media. Set up Allspring Media about 10 years ago now. It's been a bit of a journey, but it's been a great 10 years. I set out to do what I love doing, and it just evolved into a business. I have a young family, and throughout those the last 10 years, I've been able to flex my work around my family. So I can go to the concerts, Christmas concerts. I can be there for parents' evenings. I can be there for assemblies, which is, as a parent, is great. You never switch off when you run your own business. When you have more of a 9-to-5 style job, you can go home, put on the TV, pour a glass of wine, and forget about it in most cases. But as a business owner, that kind of never really stops. I mean, I've been up at 4 o'clock in the morning doing cash flows and things like that, just because it popped into my head and I knew it needed to be done. And I suppose the other low point, which kind of this whole COVID thing has illustrated, that, you're constantly on a knife edge, especially when you're a small business. You never know, even when you think your future is certain, as we did back in February, we had a very rosy future. That can all disappear overnight, and you have the responsibility of people's livelihoods in your hands, which can be quite a burden. The biggest problem with trying to set up your own business is leaving the security of a job behind, and especially when you've got a family and you've got a mortgage to pay and all the rest, it is quite a leap of faith. And I suppose I was lucky in the sense that I had a foot in each camp. I had a job and I was beginning to set up my own business. So it wasn't such a kind of a cliff edge transition for me. It was more of a gradual transition. And I think that's what enabled me to be able to do it. If you're going to set up your own business, make sure it's something that you love doing, because it's not an easy option. I think the key thing about setting up your own business, if you're doing it with passion and it is something that you truly want to do, then go for it.
So there you go. It's all about the passion.
Yeah, which is what you were saying, Kriss, because she said she did something that she loves, and that's essentially what you were saying about, if you want to set something up, make it what you love. Makes sense.
Yeah, she said so much there. Organic growth. I love your 10-year business. It's grown organically. It became a lifestyle business, but the thinking never stops, she said. I love that. Thinking never stops. Woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and if it needs to be done, you've got to get it done. You can't say, "Oh, I'm off 9 to 5." The past, she didn't say this, but the past doesn't predict the future. No one, she said, no one could have predicted the predicament we're in now. Things were going really, really well, and all of a sudden she's got to deal with, and she recognises she's dealing with people's lives. She employs people. She talked about the gradual transition of a business, and I loved what you said there. Something you really love. Yeah, absolutely perfect. She said so much more eloquently what I was trying to say.
But what I also notice is, as you say, she's, you could be up at 4 in the morning or whatever. It's work. It's graft, really. And I wonder, do you find that people take a while sometimes to realise just how much work they are going to have to do, and how many hours they're going to have to put in to build up a business, particularly?
Yeah, it's certainly not an easy option, and don't do it if you don't like work.
Yes.
But if it's a sort of work that you love, you will do it anyway. The labour of love is a tired cliche, but it's a labour you will do it anyway. It's on your mind anyway. It exercises your dendrites anyway. You get a reverberation when you deliver your product or your service anyway, and you want it to be the very, very best anyway, because your name is on it. It's much more than delivering a widget for ABC Anonymous Company. It is me, my essence, my communication of my vitality and my gnosis to the community.
I should just come in there to say, don't forget, I'm always looking to chat to MoneyMagpiers. So if you've got any top tips you'd like to share with us, then get in touch either on social media. Of course, you can also get in touch via our message boards on MoneyMagpie.com. It'd be great to have a chat with you, and we can maybe feature you on a future episode. Jasmine?
Yeah, particularly if you've got some, passion that you'll want to tell us about, great tips, ideas for making money, saving, all of that. We're, as Kriss says, it's about your passion, and that's what we're about. We want to know what makes you tick and what do you love, because we keep telling you what we love. I tell you that, and that's it from us today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, as we've mentioned, and our handle is, of course, at MoneyMagpie. If you have a story you'd like us to feature or have a burning question, then let us know on the message boards.
And the message boards aren't just for the podcast. If you've got burning questions or you want to share your money saving tips with other magpies, do post and get involved in the community. We're a very friendly bunch. If you've got your questions, the Money Magpie team will answer them.
Today's episode was presented by me, Jasmine Birtles, with Annie Thorpe, and we were joined by our wonderful guest, Kriss Akabusi, and the producer was John Offord. The music was composed for Money Magpie by Thomas Hewitt Jones.